Welcome, replay viewers, to day 3 of my 21-day challenge to myself to scope for 21 weekdays. Hi, Julie. Welcome. Hi, Angela, Amy. JS Crafty Studio. Could you tell me your name? Good morning for some of you. It's good morning for me. Good afternoon for the rest of you. Hi, Wendy. Hello. Hi, Mandy. Welcome to the first Q&A Friday, where you can ask me anything within reason. Mostly focused on Etsy. Hi, the decal girl. I got your email, and I'm so glad you got your calculated shipping issues figured out. I was so happy to hear that. So for those of you who didn't catch that scope, if you go back a couple of days, we talked about calculated shipping, and she was having some issues with it not calculating correctly. So she went back in and checked some things that I suggested, and it's working great now. So it can be done if you're having issues. It can work well. Angela, you love the GoDaddy bookkeeping. Good. I do too. It is a great program, particularly for Etsy sellers with all the imports it does. It just keeps it so simplified. I even used to do bookkeeping for a few different businesses as a side job before I had my handmade business. And so I'm not intimidated by bookkeeping, but I still love it because of how much time it saves. So I think it's great even if you have a handle on bookkeeping and it doesn't, it's not a dreaded task or it doesn't scare you. Thanks for inviting followers, Julie. Okay, so today is Q&A Friday, and I hope you brought a question. Otherwise, we're just going to be sitting here in silence and maybe introverting together if you don't have anything to ask me. So if there's anything that popped into your brain this week and you were wondering about, please go ahead and pop a question up there, and we will talk about it. Yesterday I put, is there a way to get an unfair review off the Etsy shop? Okay, so with reviews, welcome Helen. If the review has to do with something outside your control, I'm going to read your question, Wendy, so I know. Okay. If the review has to do with something outside of your control, such as the time in transit. Oh, shoot. Sorry about that, you guys. A phone call just came in. I had to get rid of it. Then you can appeal that. You can report that review to Etsy. If you're in a browser, there's like a little link, report this review to Etsy or something like that, and it asks you the reason, and you can give the reason why. So if it's harassing, or if it is threatening in any way, or if it has to do with like a third party, for example, let's say you made your item on time, you shipped it on time, and then there was a problem with the USPS, then a lot of times Etsy will remove those. But if it's simply, if it just has to do with your product, even if it's their opinion and it's not a very nice opinion and they don't even say it nicely, you know, I'm not sure, Angela, whether or not they will remove one where she thought it was a finished item. I would definitely report it and try to get it removed, okay? I think it's worth a try. If they will not remove it, I think it's definitely one that would be good to respond to. You did report it, okay. Is it 3 stars or less? One that you can respond to. If it is 3 stars or less, I think it's definitely worth leaving a very professional reply to that review and saying something along the lines of, I'm sorry that that you didn't notice that this was a pattern and not a finished product, and just say, just say something along those lines. And oh, she changed it from 1 to 3. Well, yeah, I would still respond to it, and just very professionally. The important thing, I think, in responding to 3, 2, or 1-star reviews is not to get defensive. It's so hard not to do. So it's good to take some time. Hi, Patrice, welcome. Take some time away from it. Hi, Jessica. And make sure you've kind of gathered your thoughts and think about how other buyers are going to view you when they read your reply to that review. I think that's really important. Are they going to look at you and go, whoa, she's really defensive? Or, yes, the review responses can be seen by the public. So when you've convoed somebody, that can't, obviously, but if you leave a response to a 1 to 3 star review, everyone can read that. So it is going to communicate something about you. So you want to make sure you're very professional, not defensive, but sometimes those reviews are good to address when they could help clear up some confusion for another person who might be making a purchase from your shop. And then I always take those reviews to and make sure I look at my listings and go, okay, have I communicated everything I need to communicate here? A lot of times you have, and they're just not reading. Other times I might tweak something to make it a little more clear. So that's going to depend. But I would definitely recommend that you respond to that. So Wendy, I think you asked, I make cash envelope system wallets and accessories for the envelope system of budgeting. As far as deciding what fabrics I'm going to purchase, a lot of times I will look at what patterns are in style or what colors are. Like for the Pantone colors, I have to be honest, I really do not like this year's Pantone colors. It reminds me of how I decorated in the late 80s and early 90s when I was in college. Like the mauve and country blue, you know, I'm not a fan. And I actually haven't seen, I use laminated cotton, and I really haven't seen much coming out in those colors to where I have to go, no, I'm not going to buy those. I did check out Design Seeds, Julie. It's so cool. I linked to that. Julie told me about a couple of sites yesterday for color inspiration. And if you go to MakerySpace.com/scope, then you can find the links to those sites. And they're really, really great sites. So I'll look at patterns that are in. Laminated cotton, you know, it's for every line that's produced by a company, there might be 1 or 2 laminates produced, and not every company does produce laminates. So the selection is a lot smaller. So it's actually not I don't have a huge amount of decision fatigue when it comes to deciding what fabrics to buy in my laminated cotton. So that kind of helps me because I am not a good decision maker because I'm one of those people that considers all my possibilities and I get totally overwhelmed and paralyzed. So that actually helps me. But I try to look at what seems to be popular and then try to keep an eye on what seems to be going out of style. You know, chevron wallets were really popular in my shop for a long time, but I've seen a decline in the chevron, and so I don't usually restock those fabrics anymore unless it's a real basic one. Like I just got some more navy and white in because that tends to be popular, but for the most part, I'm not carrying this wide line of chevrons anymore. So I try to pay attention to that. My shop name, and I realized I didn't introduce myself. So my handmade shop on Etsy is a time for everything, and that's what the number for, not the word for. And then my site where I like to educate and equip Etsy sellers, and I have quick tip videos and tutorials and that kind of thing, is MakerySpace.com. Hi from Los Angeles. Okay, so another question I saw, let's see, I missed some other ones. So if you remember what your question was and I didn't get to it, if you could repost that. Hey, does anyone know, I hear people saying on their scopes to copy your question so that you can paste it later if they miss it. I cannot do that on my Android phone. Is that an Android issue? Is that something you can easily do on iOS? If you've typed in a scope, if you've typed a comment, can you copy it right from there? Because I cannot on my phone. You can't either, Jessica. Are you on Android? Yes, MakerySpace.com. Does anybody else is it just not on iOS? You tap and hit copy. Okay, I think it's an iOS versus Android thing. So I'm really bummed about that. It's a pain that I have to try to remember my question and then do it later instead of copying and pasting it in. Okay, I know I missed a question. Does anybody want to type their question back in? Can you share why you've stayed on Etsy so long and not moved to your own site? Great question, Amy. So I'm actually, I've been very slowly making plans to move to my own site. I have my own site. I have my own blog, and I just don't have products on there, but I have some plans written down, but it's been a very slow process. So I think that having your own shop, whether it's on Shopify or using WooCommerce on your own site or whatever it is a great idea. But I think it can be very related to your season in life, whether or not you have the margin to invest in having your own site in addition to Etsy. because my shop has done so well on the Etsy platform, for a while there, I felt this panic feeling like I need to get my own shop, because everybody was saying that. You know, you just can't grow on Etsy. Nobody will take your business seriously if your shop's only on Etsy. You need to get your own site. You know, it was like this 100% black and white issue. And I realized it's really a gray issue, depending on where you are in your life. I started my Etsy shop. My kids were all under 10. And I was homeschooling. I had no kids that I was dropping off at school during the day. They were all 4 home with me. And so Etsy made it really easy for me to start selling because of how user-friendly the platform is, and because I can communicate with customers there. I can ship from there. I don't have to leave it. So it made it feasible for me as a mom of 4 kids at home to start a business and start selling online. And yes, the traffic that people are already coming to Etsy to search. So I'm not trying to drive traffic there via the other search engines like Google and Yahoo and Bing. So I was in a season where I finally had to realize I don't have to set up my own site right now. Once I let go of that pressure, I felt so much more relieved. So it has been very much season of life related. And then when my shop was really growing and we were trying to put systems in place to be able to keep up with that growth, there was just no way I could have created a completely different shop somewhere else and then tried to manage orders from both places. But I'm in a place now where I feel like it is actually feasible for me to start exploring that idea and just see what happens and experimenting with it. So, it's taken me over 4 years to get to this place where I feel like I'm in a season where I can do that. So I think you have to evaluate where you are. If you have a full-time job outside of your shop, it may not be feasible for you. If you have a bunch of littles at home, if you're caring for a parent at home, there's all sorts of things that can affect that. So please don't feel like you are not going to be able to grow or succeed if you are on Etsy for this season of your life and you're not anywhere else. Okay? All right, I know a couple more questions came through. I'm sorry that I missed them. So if you want to post them again, I will try to get to them. Anybody have one that I missed? So I wanted to let you know that you're doing your branding this week. That's a fun thing. And are you selling on Etsy, Helen? Because one thing about Etsy, we're really limited in how we can set up our shops because there's just one format. And so branding is super important. Colors that are in right now, I would go with colors that reflect your brand and your interests and the things that you sell. Maybe over colors that are necessarily trending. But once some of them may date quickly, but I would just go with what goes with your own products and your own branding and your own personality. But on Etsy, it is important to get some branding in there because your banner and your shop icon are the main things that people are going to see, that are going to identify your products with your business name and that branding thing, because you can't do it in a whole bunch of places in your Etsy shop. So if you can at least get those cohesive, right, Julie, you can totally update as you grow. And as sometimes people rebrand a little bit. They may find that they feel like their logo and banner are out of date. But it's good to, if you settle on something that's not too out there that you can use for a while, then that's going to be really recognized by people. So I use my same logo on my banner, my shop icon, on my stickers that I use on my packaging, on my address labels, on my business cards. I incorporate it in all those different places so that hopefully people are associating that logo with my shop. So I think that's a really good thing to do. Don't leave that shop icon blank. Another thing is when someone clicks through to your profile, that square shop icon that shows on the left sidebar of your shop shows really large on your personal profile as well and is a link to your shop. So it's a really good idea to have that shop icon uploaded. So you have a picture of yourself, and then don't use a logo for the picture of yourself. People identify with people. And so you want your face on there, but make sure you have your logo for your shop icon in your shop. I have not made a shop video for my About page yet, Julie. I need to do that. So I've been using video more and getting more comfortable with it, but I haven't done anything and uploaded it to Etsy yet. Has anyone else done that yet? Have you put a shop video on your About page? Use that feature? I would love to check it out if you've done it, so let me know. You're not doing everything wrong, Jessica. You just have to do the next thing. That's all you can do, one thing at a time. Okay? But if any of you do, shoot me an email and let me know that your video is up, because I would love to check it out. I'm just trying to decide exactly what I want to provide, since you can only do one video. But I have had people ask before, like how I use the wallets and that kind of thing. I'm thinking that would be a good video for me to do, to show how I organize cash categories in a wallet, and divide things up, and the one that I put my coupons in. I believe you can create the video. Yeah, you can create the video anywhere you want, as far as I know, and then upload it. There's a few different formats that it takes. And if you go onto your About page, you will see, if you don't have a video yet, it'll have a little snippet telling you how to do it and telling you the formats that are accepted for that little video. And see, Jessica, that is a good problem to have. You're not doing everything wrong if you're too busy with orders to do some of these things. So give yourself some credit. Just try to think of one thing every couple of weeks that you want to accomplish and add to your shop, so that you don't get overwhelmed. Welcome, Robin. Okay, any other questions? I don't know if you caught, I did a post on Tuesday for a quick tip, and it talked about how when you go on your orders page, the customer name is a hyperlink, and if you click on it, it gives you all sorts of great information and it gives you tasks that you can do right from that orders page. Okay, I'm going to get to those. That saves you a lot of time, so check that out on the blog. How do I help people understand that I'm not just an Etsy seller? I try to focus on what I make, my business name and what I make, and then I say that my shop is on Etsy. I don't call it my Etsy. I have to tell you, that is a huge pet peeve of mine. I'm working on my Etsy. No, it's not your Etsy. It is your business. It is your shop, and you sell on the Etsy platform. You have to own that it's your business. It's not your Etsy. Okay? I don't really consider myself an Etsyan. I consider myself someone who sells on Etsy. Now, I do use the phrase Etsy seller because that's what a lot of people say. They can relate to that. When I'm doing a blog post, it's more likely my posts are going to be able to be found because people are going to be searching for things for Etsy sellers. But in general, I like to say that I have a shop on Etsy. So I say I design and make cash envelope system wallets and accessories for the envelope system of budgeting, and I usually throw in that it's like Dave Ramsey, because someone can relate to that. I'll get to that, Shai. And then I tell my business name, and then I tell where my shop is. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Introduce your business first. Own that you are a business owner. It doesn't have to be. You're not defined by where you sell. You're defined by. Well, you're not defined, but your business is defined by what you do, not what platform that you sell on. How did I get the confidence to list my first item and put it out there? I started out, I had made myself a wallet and blogged about it. This was back when I just had a blog. I had no business. And I had people emailing me and friends telling me in person, I want you to make me one. I'll pay you to make me one. And I had no intention of making any for anyone, because it was the first time I'd put in a zipper. And it took me, I can't even tell you how many hours it took me to make my wallet. And it was ridiculous. And I thought, I'm glad that's done. I'm never doing it again. And then I had people begging me to make them. So I finally agreed to do it on a trial basis. And I just sold them on my blog. I took like 12 orders, sold them on my blog. This was a wallet style that I don't make anymore. But after that, after I did that trial run, I still had people contacting me. And so then I decided to sell them. It was really rough. I just had like some pictures on my blog, and I had a PayPal button that linked to PayPal so people could purchase it. But, nobody could really find me in search. It's just that people already knew I was making them. So I'd get an order every once in a while. And then I had a friend who kept telling me, you need to put your stuff on Etsy. And I had only shopped on Etsy a couple of times. I had no idea how to do any sort of e-commerce that way. So I was totally intimidated. And I finally went away for a crafting weekend where I was able to make several wallets. And I was like, okay, I feel like I have a little bit of an inventory. I'm just going to try it. And I did, and I actually got a sale the next day, which I know is not normal. And so don't think that, you have failed if you didn't get a sale the next day after you posted. But I started out in a market that there was one other seller on Etsy selling anything for the cash envelope system, and hers was a fabric pouch with separate envelopes. It wasn't even like mine. So it was pretty easy to get noticed in the beginning. But I just did it. I mean, I had people asking for them on my blog, so I felt like, well, maybe I would be able to do it through Etsy, and then it ended up being something that I really, really enjoyed. It ended up starting to take off. So, you could always just try a little test market with people that with friends and family. If you have a Facebook page at all, just throw something out there. That's what I'll do sometimes if I'm thinking of a new product. I'll just go, okay, what do you think of this idea? Or I'll make a prototype up and show a picture of it and just gauge people's reaction to see if I think it's something that's going to fly. And if I'm developing a new product, sometimes I'll have a little group of testers to try it out. I did that with my planner wallet so that people with different ring configurations could test it, make sure it fit, and all that kind of stuff. So, you just have to, fear is just a part of life. Fear is there for any business owner, even people who have been public speaking for a long time or writing books for a long time or doing whatever it is that they do well for a long time will tell you that fear always comes into play, but you cannot be dominated by fear. You just have to decide that you're going to put yourself out there. Otherwise, you're not going to really go anywhere. See you later, Helen. Thanks for being here. Yes, Julie, have ever had people want me to make something that was a copy from another shop? I have had a few people that have sent me a convo and said, can you make me something like this that's a different version maybe of what I make? And I say, you're welcome. I just try to be very professional and diplomatic and say that I'm feel very strongly about honoring other people's designs and their work and not copying them. And, I would encourage them to buy from that person. Every once in a while, someone will go, oh, I actually didn't mean for you to make it that way. Maybe they wanted a similar fabric or something, and it was a misunderstanding. But I haven't had that happen a lot, but I have had it a couple times, and I try not to shame them, but to make it really clear that I honor the designs of other people, and that, I've been burned by this, and so it's made me honor those designs of other people even more. And I will not, even though I could probably make something the same or similar, I just will not do it. Any other questions? Okay, well, that was fun. I really enjoyed that. Thank you to those of you who brought some questions, and just remember that'll be the format every Friday. So if you have something that you think of during the week, just jot it down and bring it on Friday, and you can feel free to ask me. Just remember, too, that you can go to MakerySpace.com/scope. You're welcome. Oh, good. Victory7173, what is your name? If you scroll down on that scope page, there is a place where you can fill out any requests for things. Patrice. Okay, thank you, Patrice. Anything that you would like to hear me talk about on Periscope. You have got to contact Periscope, I think, if you want to change your Periscope name, if it's already been set. And I don't know that they always do it, but I think that's how you have to go about it. If you go to MakerySpace.com/scope and scroll down, you can put in a request for something you'd like me to talk about. So I would really appreciate, since I'm committed to doing this for 21 days, I would love to have some outside ideas of topics to cover when I jump on here. So I will see you on Monday. Monday through Thursday is topic focused, and then Friday is the Q&A, Ask Me Anything. All right, I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I hope to see you on Monday. Take care.